Folks, you're probably tired of hearing about the SAVE Act, and I'm tired of talking about it. But there's a lot happening with it right now. President Trump is pissed off. Senate Majority Leader John Thune is in his crosshairs. You have the White House putting Caroline Leavitt out in front, trying to turn up the heat. And we have Democratic strategist James Carville admitting that Senate Majority Leader John Thune doesn't really have any excuses left. But let's call it what it is, a shit show. Trump's pissed off. Thune's starting to crack in public. And maybe it's because the pressure's getting to him. Or maybe it's because, well, the Democrats are really exposing what he's been leaning on this whole time and taking away every excuse that he had in his little book. Okay, so this started on Wednesday. Well, it started a long time ago, but the most recent was Wednesday. The House passed their budget blueprint that opens the door to another reconciliation package. And I know that most of you are probably going to say it's not going to pass in the Senate. But look, we are where we are, and this is our government. But later on that day, you had the president in Marietta, Georgia, in front of a couple thousand people, and he went directly at the U.S. Senate. Not the Democrats, not Chuck Schumer, but he went after the Republican Senate. And I want you to listen.
And finally, we have to pass the Save America Act to defend American elections. And I have to say, Mike Johnson and Congress have done a great job, but we're having a hard time in the Senate. The Senate, what they're doing is just not right. Congress is going to pass it again. They passed it 3 times. They're going to pass it again. It's like the Senate is a place that you send things when you want them to die. We can't do this, and we're not going to take this any longer. We're not going to take it. You know, I'm trying to be nice, trying to be really nice. You saw we had a big victory last night in Arizona. I've had victories everywhere. But we're not going to be able to take it much longer. When they can't get past voter ID, proof of citizenship, no mail-in ballots because they're crooked as hell. So right now, Congress is working to get as much of our plan as possible into the budget bill to identify and really terminate. Look, what they should do, very simple. A lot of you don't know about filibuster. They should terminate the filibuster and approve everything. Because the Democrats are going to do it. The Democrats are going to terminate the filibuster as soon as they have a chance. And then they're going to approve Puerto Rico and D.C. as a state. They got 4 more senators. They're going to end up with 12 more congressmen. They're going to get like 40 electoral votes. If they are allowed to do that, by that time I'll be sitting home. And I'm not a big crier. I don't think you want to see me cry, you know? There are some people, they do very well when they cry. But you don't want to see me cry. But I may be crying when I'll be sitting home and I'll say I told them. They got to really terminate the filibuster, get everything approved right away. Because you're going to have a stoppage. You're going to have a stoppage in September. The Democrats won't approve everything. They become deranged, like deranged Jack Smith. Remember that deranged sick puppy? They're deranged, and they won't approve. You're going to have a shutdown in September. And in 2 years later, you have the debt ceiling bill. They would love it. I call it the 1929. You know what 1929 means? That was not a good year. And there's no reason for it. They should terminate the filibuster. Everybody call John Thune at the Senate.
You should call him. You should. But here's the thing. Unfortunately, the president is right. The Senate is where you send things to die. But I'll be honest with you. While I'm extremely pissed off that President Trump even has to say these things, I do hold, I don't know, maybe some hope, because he has the same sentiment as we do, because we're all pissed off. Okay? We're tired of hearing about the SAVE Act. We just want it passed. You know, it's even more kind of ironic. You guys know who James Carville is, right? You know, the top Democratic strategist in the country. Listen to what he had to say.
It should polls at 75%. It doesn't make. I don't think people are aware of it. I think people assume that voter fraud happened. Again, I don't even want to say it. If you want to say infinitesimal, I don't know if I could think of a word that would be even narrower than that. I would say that. And I don't like when we say, well, look, it's a very minor problem, but you got to admit it barely exists. And it doesn't make any sense. Having said that, we are not going to win the war against some kind of ID. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't fix anything, but maybe you just go along with it and move to the next
Well,
thing.
James, let me disagree. We have voter
sure.
ID.
No, James is right. And you know why he's right? Because the American people support it and the polling's overwhelming. Did you hear him? Carville knows it. That's exactly why his own side is losing this argument, whether they like it or not. Now, to be fair, Carville made it clear that, he wasn't necessarily endorsing the SAVE Act, but he somewhat is. He admitted the larger truth. Democrats know voter ID is popular. They know the American people want it. They know continuing to fight this is political suicide. Why doesn't John Thune know that? I mean, I don't know, but if you were to ask Caroline Leavitt, she has something to say. And I think you'll like this.
Is his patience running out with Leader Thune? Running out?
Look, the president spoke about this directly yesterday. His patience is running out. He wants to see as much of the Save America passed as.
She speaks for the president, okay? And here's where I think we see the first opportunity of Senator Thune showing his frustration, because he just couldn't keep his mouth shut after Caroline said this. I mean, why is the Senate leader telling someone else to do his job for him? I mean, he's starting to crack, okay? Because the pressure is no longer coming from just one direction. The House is moving. President Trump's calling him out by name. The White House is putting a deadline on him. And now the most famous Democratic strategist in America is admitting that Democrats can't win the voter ID argument. So what's John Thune's excuse? Because his excuse was always the same one. The Democrats are blocking it. But if you look at what happened today, the House already moved again. Real money's behind these things. James Carville is telling his own party to stop fighting this. But Thune's answer to all of this pressure was to tell Caroline Leavitt to make some calls. Whose job is it to get on the phone and get 50 votes? It's not Caroline Leavitt's. She stands on a podium and talks to reporters and represents the White House and the administration. It's not her job. It's Senator Thune's job. That's the entire job description of the Senate Majority Leader. It's his fucking job. But instead of doing it, he's out there trading one-liners with Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, like this is some kind of cable news feud. Now, folks, this is going to continue. And look, I'm glad you're here with me. I would ask you to like and subscribe to the video, and please give me some type of levity here. This is moving news, and I'm trying to build a channel because I believe that I bring value that the others don't. So don't be pissed off that I'm always talking about the SAVE Act when the SAVE Act is always in the headlines. But listen, this is where the whole thing folds, okay? And it's not complicated. Thune's excuse was the Democrats are blocking it. That excuse died today on live TV and podcast. His own opponents are the ones telling their side to quit. That means only one thing is standing between us and a voter ID law. A law that 75% of this country wants. And that stand is being held by the Senate Republican Majority Leader, who can't count to 50 inside of his own conference. Not the Democrats, it's him. Okay? Folks, we've seen up close what this looks like when people who are supposed to be on our side would rather make excuses than do the work. We're not looking at this from some new perspective. This is John Thune being a stick in the mud, refusing to do his job, trying to delegate it to others, pass the responsibility, the accountability onto somebody else. Look, Thune has until August to show us which one he is. Is he going to be on our side? Going to be right with us? Is he going to be here counting the votes with us? Or is he going to be somewhere else? And if this does not move by recess, you already know what Trump's going to do about it. And it's not going to be pretty. Not going to be pretty. I would not doubt if the president isn't looking for ways right now to get his ass out of that seat. Just my opinion. All right, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Again, I appreciate you. Have a great day.
Is that JR? Yes. But we love you, JR. Thank you very much. Thank you, man. This guy, he's a genius. Thank you, JR. Really nice.